playing them 3 times, and they mixed up their roster a couple times. So it's like it's the same team and the same name, but it's never the same people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and so we got a shot today to start getting a little bit ready for Salina. As you just said, same name, pieces are a little bit different. So, what do you expect from in terms of fans yourself? How do you really start preparing for a game a week and a half out?
Especially the bye week's crucial. That's when you fix the little things. You don't have to go too hard, but when you are, you have to go full speed. Especially, I feel like it's important to also try to get people to.
And did talk to an NFL representative for fans. We just got told the audio is, well, now Chris is loud enough. But I did get told by an NFL representative today that the big point of why week was going is so that way everybody could get healthy. Speaking of health, we know that you got hobbled up in that scrimmage against Wichita at home. So I know hopefully there's a lot of young fans out there listening to this. Football or injuries are part of football, especially when we figured it out that we played 11 straight weeks basically. People are going to get injured. How do you not necessarily get over an injury, but how do you overcome that injury?
Mental game is a big aspect because, of course, everybody wants to be out there with their team, and it's tough to be on the sideline, something. I've experienced it in college. I experienced it in high school, so I kind of knew what I needed to do to get back on the field. But honestly, it's being consistent. Injury prevention before you get hurt, and if you do get hurt, it's also being consistent. Stay on it. Make sure that you're able to get out there as soon as possible.
So basically, what you're saying is rehab, more rehab, both mentally and
be consistent. Stay on it.
Like we've said, we now have the bye week. We're getting ready to go to Salina. Why should fans make the 2.5 hour trip up to Salina to watch that game?
Because they be wrong about this, that they beat us by 3 points, and we beat them by 3 points. So, I'm 6 points right here from them. They're a good football team. We're a good football team. Honestly, it's like looking over here now. It seems like they're trying to replicate some things that we're doing and some things that they're doing. So it should be a good even matchup.
Well, fans, you heard it, a high-scoring game. Chris, before I let you off of here, is there anything else you want to tell the fans? Or I guess I even opened up. Do you have any questions for me?
Oh yeah. Honestly, for the fans that are watching that have been to the whole game, also, the main behind the scenes, this guy right here, he drives us when we go to places away. We drove 8 hours. We took West Texas.
Yeah, 8 hours.
West Texas drove us 8 hours to West Texas right after the football game. 8 hours. So honestly, can't be more appreciative about that because I hate driving myself, so I know how much that is.
I appreciate you giving me a shout. That 8 hour drive back and up turning into almost 9. I had to make 3 stops. But 8:15 when we got back was not very fun. But Bruce, as always, we appreciate having you on. Anybody you want to give a shout out to? We got family watching.
I have some family watching. I have a couple of people that are watching, but I'll be seeing a couple of them in a few days. So be pretty good.
Absolutely. Well, Chris, appreciate having you on.
Thanks for having me.
Have a nice bye week. Back to live on Monday.
Yeah, thanks. See y'all there.
All right. As he gets off, Sworn fans, don't forget you can drop your questions, comments below. We will do our best to get to them. I caught Coach Thomas in a bad spot. He was actually taking a piece of pizza. So that'll be, I'm sure he'll have something to say about that as he gets on.
Good spot.
But as always, fans, thank you for tuning in. Again, we also want to give another shout out to Dodge City Brewing for allowing us to be here yet again on Wednesday and kind of crash their party every Wednesday night. If you have never had the chance to be out here, great pizza.
You should. Amazing pizza. Amazing service. Oh, Chris coming back.
Chris is coming back. He has a shout out.
Shout out to Soul Springs. They're I don't know what street it is, but they get me right every
Central. Central.
Yeah. They
In
get me
the
right every week.
Central Shopping Mall.
Yes.
So there you
Go in
go.
there and get red light therapy. You can get cryo.
So,
You can get a massage. Yeah.
so 2 years ago on 4th of July, I was doing box jumps, and I came down off the box, and both my legs went numb.
Yeah. That's why you don't do that stuff.
Yeah. And they had me walking in 2 days. So
What were you training for?
nothing. Just a,
Oh, that's your fault.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was trying to be, fit and active.
I was gonna feel bad for you for a second, and then
I was
you
just trying
said
to be
box
active.
jumps, and then
Just trying to be active and fit.
well,
Turns
that's
out,
what you get.
I don't want to be active and fit that bad.
Yeah. Little Debbie will keep you right.
She does a pretty good job, especially hunting season. Little Debbie's in a hunting backpack.
Oh yeah.
But well, Coach, different week. Unfortunately, similar story.
Yeah.
Now, what is it? 10 points from one loss.
Yeah. 4 losses. I combined 10 points. 10 points from being 8-1. How about that?
Yeah. But
Didn't have that on the bingo card.
as you said earlier this week, you are what your record says you are.
That's exactly what I said. We are, I told the guys that we are exactly what our record says that we are. Right now we're a below average football team. And I know we feel like we've been in every game, and we literally are. I always say, sometimes you hear coaches and they're like, well, if we could have stopped those 3 plays, we would have won the game. And then you're like, wait a minute, those 3 plays was like 90 yards worth of offense. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I mean,
Especially when your field's only 50 yards long.
right, yeah. 4 of our, in 4 of our losses, 3 of them came down to the last play of the game.
Yeah.
And it came down to a guy making a play. The guys today, they go, 50% of this league is throwing it to a cover guy, and the guy's either in a dark jersey or a guy in a white jersey is going to make a play. So, we've just been on the bad end of a couple at the end of it, but we're right there, and we've got to kind of redirect our focus a little bit. And right now, I'm a proponent of playing, but this bye could not have come at a better time for us.
We're actually going to pause it. We're going to pause that. We're going to keep that thought though.
Okay.
Because I want to go in order.
Yes, sir.
I don't know how to exactly word the question, but recap of Saturday.
Okay.
As nicely as you can, or however you want to put it, I guess. Washington comes in. They have a few new pieces that they hadn't had before.
Yeah.
And, like you said last week on the podcast, who's to say they don't start making those plays?
Yeah.
And that's exactly what they did.
Yep. Had a new quarterback. Reactivated one of their wide receivers that played in the SEC, who hasn't played all year for him, and got a little bit healthy at the offensive line. And honestly, sometimes you run into some comments and you lost to a 1-6 football team. Yeah, have you watched any of their games? Their defense played really well all year long. if you just look at the scores,
Yeah, you think opposite.
you would think the opposite. And the truth is, they were set up for failure on special teams, and their offense was just not functioning. And they made a lot of corrections on offense. The defense played hard, like they always did. Their defense played well against the Lions. They played pretty okay against Billings. They just, Billings had, I don't know, 3 drives that started inside their own 10-yard line.
And they were pretty close to each other, which does a lot for momentum.
Yeah, I mean, that Washington team doesn't get, again, their scores, again, paint a picture of what the game, but, they were well prepared, they were well coached, they came across the country to do it, they ran into some adversity from a travel standpoint, and, credit goes to them. They made the plays when they had to, and we still feel like we're a better football team, but they were better than us that day, and I don't know if they were better than us the entire day. They were better than us for about 18 seconds. Yep. That's what mattered.
Yep. Unfortunately, yeah. So you told me you were going to bring this up, so I'm going to go ahead and bring it up anyways.
Yeah.
The way the game ended, opportunity to potentially clinch the win on a 4th and 2, 4th and 3.
Yeah.
We don't do it. They have 10 seconds left to go 40 yards. They take 6 on one play. We end up scoring. Big field goal, obviously.
Yep.
We get it with 4 seconds remaining. A play that definitely should have had a flag on it.
Yeah, that part's factual.
In 2 different aspects.
Yeah.
Ends up not having a flag on it. So the clock runs out, and I don't remember if it was incomplete or intercepted. It's a mute point, but we end up losing by 1. So I guess that's my segue into what you told me you were going to say anyways today.
Yeah,
I guess
how the game. I talked to the team. Everybody wants to coach, and when you've been around it long enough, there's certain things that just that are just the right thing to do. I saw a couple comments about kicking the field goal at the end of the game. If we played that game 1,000 more times in that scenario, I would never kick that field goal. Never, ever, 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 ever would I kick that field goal. And that has nothing to do with Dylan Burkhardt. Dylan Burkhardt's a stud. He's one of my favorite people, and he's arguably the best kicker that I've ever coached in 21 years of football. And I still wouldn't kick that field goal. We got the ball back with, 3.5, 4 minutes to go in the game, up by 6. They had 2 timeouts, and there's 4 minutes on the clock. So I know it's the Arena Football League, but you don't want to necessarily go score fast, because then if you give up a touchdown, you're going to get the onside kick. And one of the things you don't want to defend in this league, there's a high percentage on those onside kicks. I didn't want to get into go to the West Texas game where it's 7-7 at the end of the first, and then there's 41 points that are scored in the last 6 minutes. Yeah. That's how fast this game goes back and forth. So I didn't want to turn it into a shootout when we're up 6 points. So my goal was 2 things. I needed to get their timeouts immediately, and I needed to get a first down. Or not get a first down. I needed to get their timeouts from them, and I needed to get time off the clock. So we accomplished both those things. We got the timeouts pretty quickly after we got the first down. So then it was, we needed to get time off the clock, and it got to a point where we needed 1 more first down, and the game's over. So the timing rules under a minute state that if you don't gain a yard, if you don't have a positive gain, the clock stops. And on an incomplete pass, the clock stops. It's not like the rest of the game. So on any of those first 3 downs, if you throw the ball and it's incomplete, you leave 35 seconds on the clock. Okay, so another example, the other day we were watching, I think it was Orlando or Nashville or somebody. They ran like 8 plays in 27 seconds in a 2-minute drill. People don't realize how quickly people can fire off plays in this league. So what I didn't want to do was throw the ball there and leave a 30-second gap
Yeah.
on the clock. So running the football was the only way to get that clock to run down. And then we got left with a fourth and whatever it was, about 2.5.
Yeah.
So we're on the 15-yard line. So again, play out the scenario. So from the 15-yard line on the left hash, if you add the snap, which is going to be 7 yards, that's now a 22-yard field goal. If you add the 8 yards that's in the end zone, that's now a 30-yard field goal. That is not a chip shot field goal. It's a 9-foot wide post, and it's 15 feet off the ground, not 10 feet off the ground. It's not like an outdoor field goal post. And oh, by the way, we already had a bad snap earlier in the game, and we had a blocked kick earlier in the game. So what I didn't want to do was risk being up 6, kicking a field goal and getting it blocked in return for a score and losing. Okay? Or in this league, if you miss the field goal, the ball is live off the net.
Oh, and by the way, you can't be within, you got to stay at the 5-yard line.
Yes.
Because of the halo rule.
Yes, there's a halo rule, so you have to allow them space to catch the ball. And I've got 4 or 5 O linemen out there blocking. So now I've got to tackle their kick returner with my offensive line on the field. And oh, by the way, if you want to get into the nuts and bolts of it, you may know the answer, but I'm going to put it in the form of a question. Do you know what the field goal make percentage in this league is for the entire league this year? You know the answer? It is 54%. So in this league, on every team league-wide, only 54% of the kicks in this league have been made. Okay? And take it furthermore, the easiest kick in the league is the extra point, right? Extra points are 76% on 200 and something attempts. 76%. So it's not like, well, okay, there's been 20 attempts and 14 made. It's over 2. That's a pretty good sample size. So I know you know this answer as well. Or you may. In the last 10 years, okay, 10-year average in the NFL, 4th and 2 to 3 yards. What is the conversion rate for converting 4th and 2 or 3 over 10 years in the NFL?
I'm going to say it's somewhere between 57.1 and 57.3.
It is 57.4%.
That's close, I guess.
No, 57.2%. Okay, so it's still a higher percentage conversion rate in the NFL, okay, than it is kicking a field goal at this level. So again, the point of that is, and in the AFL, that number is probably, I don't want to say astronomically higher, but I bet it's closer to 65 or 70%. So the point is that the percentage on the play, there's so many things that could go wrong when you put your field goal team out there, and you have one snap. You have one snap to end the game, and you only need 3 yards. You keep your offense out there 1,000 times out of 1,000.
And mind you, how do we kick a field goal? We go up 9.
Go up 9.
We've given up a kick return for a touchdown. And that makes
already
3,
in the game.
Yeah, and that makes 3 in the last 2 weeks.
Yep. And we've given up a 4-point conversion to
And that's
to
what I was
Salina.
going to say. So let's say they score.
And if you watch the Billings-Albany game from Saturday night, Billings scored 12 points in the last 9 seconds of the game to win the game. So going up 9 doesn't even secure the win.
Nope.
Again, does it make it difficult to win from there? Absolutely it does. Yep. Okay, but if we get 3 yards, the game's over.
Yep.
Like the game is over. You stay aggressive, you keep your offense on the field, and you get your 3 yards. Okay? Now, not throwing people under the bus, everything wins and losses. Again, wins, don't take the credit for them. Losses, they're on my shoulders. Okay, but we didn't execute the call. We had a guy that missed the call, didn't execute the play. It would have been a first down. Our running back would have been one-on-one with the safety who was at 8 yards deep, and the game would have been over. Okay, but even if you miss that, which we did, they still have to go 40 yards in 10 seconds with no timeouts. So again, now let's play through that scenario since you asked. Okay, so on defense, you have 2 options. Okay, you can play loose. Okay, now when Salina threw a Hail Mary on us weeks ago, the first play of that drive, they ran about a 15-yard out on the board, and it took 3 seconds. Yep. So what we didn't want to do was play so loose that they got past midfield with 3 seconds and still had a shot at the end zone from about the 22-yard line. So we had to stay in somewhat aggressive mode you know, and force them. That means they're going to get 2 shots at the end zone because of how we played, and our guy to make a play. And that's the way the game played out. Okay, but I wouldn't change our defensive call. I wouldn't change how we approach the end of the football game. I understand that if I was sitting there live on DraftKings, we probably before that 4th down play, we probably had a 99% win percentage. I get that. That is not lost on me. Okay, but kicking the field goal is a lazy take. Yeah, it's a lazy take. That is somebody who plays Madden would want to kick that field goal, because on Madden there's always a perfect snap, and you make 90% of your field goals. The only time you really ever miss is because it's too long and you try the long one. Yeah. Okay, and if you're a fantasy football guy, you think someone should have kicked the field goal. That is a lazy, uneducated take, and anyone who's been around football keeps their offense on the field in that scenario, stays aggressive, and tries to convert that. And I would die on this hill, and anyone who's coached in any type of competitive football would die right next to me on this hill.
I will say, so Sunday morning I was talking with one of the leaders within our organization. And he said, you know, I have questions, but at the end of the day, we hired the coaching staff because they know way more about coaching football than I do. So I'm going to trust exactly what they did. Yeah, I said, you know, 9 times out of 10, we probably get that first down. I mean, statistically, 57.2% of the time.
In the NFL, in an outdoor game where you can play different defenses. Yeah. In the Arena Football League, you're stuck in 5 minutes in the box. There's only so much you can do. Again, the play call was correct. It wasn't executed correctly, and those are things that we can fix. Okay, but now we've got new life. Okay, I told the guys today, we're 0-0. Yep. It's a new season. Right now, our main objective is to be staying active, getting mentally locked in, and absolutely got to get healthy. Yeah, we had, I think, 14 healthy bodies.
Yeah, we didn't have enough to go team today.
At practice. Yeah, we had 14 healthy bodies at practice today. If we were preparing for Nashville, we would have still yet to have any type of, and we're done with Wednesday, you know, and we would be leaving tomorrow night for Nashville. Shout out to you, because you could be part of the transportation. But we'd be leaving for Nashville tomorrow night, and we still haven't had enough guys suited up healthy. We are just, and there's a lot to that I don't want to cut off. We got a question coming.
No, I was going to say,
I mean, us and Albany are the only 2 teams in the league that have played 9 straight football games.
I would say when we got the confirmation we were not going to Nashville, we were right next to each other when we got that confirmation. And I could not express how excited I was that I did not have to be a part of a 12-hour bus drive.
Yeah, I'm not mad. You know, I like Nashville. But when the schedule came out at the beginning of the year, I was excited to go to Nashville. You know, here's some things to think about. You know, if the league told us we had to go play, we were ready to play.
Yeah.
I mean, we would have been ready to go, and I don't care where they wanted us to go, we would have gone and played.
And I'd have been up until 3 o'clock tonight, so I could sleep all day.
That's just part of the gig. It is what it is. But again, we played 9 straight. We also had the 2 scrimmages, so we played 11 weeks in a row of football. Not to mention 3 camps before that, but we still have our original roster. Yeah. We have the original 16 players that we started with at the beginning of the year during camp. I'm like that. We haven't had any turnover in our roster. We've signed a couple guys, and they've contributed in some ways. But our main 16 guys, they go out there for the first snaps of the game, other than losing Desmond to the Saints for a couple weeks and losing Michael to injury for a couple weeks. We have the same 16 bodies. Yeah, well, we lost Jeremy, but Vince took over both sides. Vince took over both roles. So, you know, we have the original 16 bodies that we're playing with. Our guys are tired. They're physically tired. They're mentally tired. They're beat up. And we've played a lot of physical football games. Our style of play is physical, and it's taking a toll on us physically and mentally. So this couldn't have come at a better time. I know the optics are bad on a national scale. But with the TV contract, not to cut you off, I know they want to put the best product. Here's what I would say to any of the naysayers out there. If this is on national TV, okay, look at the last 4 weeks of the NFL. Watch the Albany Billings game. Wow, outstanding, right? Watch the Orlando Nashville game from a few weeks ago. Very good. Unreal. Watch Nashville versus Billings a couple weeks ago. Unbelievable. Watch us in Salina 3 or 4 weeks ago. Watch us in West Texas 2 weeks ago. Watch us in Washington last week. All games that ended in the last 10 seconds of the game, either team could have won the game. Yep. Imagine if people had the exposure and people, I mean, there's so much hate for this league online. It's absolutely mind-blowing. And whatever, I don't know if, people got stuffed in lockers when they were little, or somebody, stole their girlfriends. I don't know why there's so much hate. They act like it's personal, like it was personal for them. But, people are trying to do some good things, but there's some freaks, highly talented athletes running around this league. And arguably more athletic than some others that are around there. And I mean, we've lost guys to the UFL, we've lost guys to the NFL, we've lost guys to the CFL. We've had contact with a bunch of CFL teams about multiple guys on our roster, and that's just our roster. I imagine there's a lot of people that are going through the same stuff. So the point is, if there was some more exposure, like we're about to get with these playoff games. It's going to lead to, more corporate opportunities, more opportunities to to raise capital for the league, to kind of help this thing grow. And I think the fan experience, if we can get some more visuals on some of these games and the high scoring, the competitive play, the down to the wire acrobatics, and we've been on the bad end of some of those. But I can understand. I got people that, come up to me here in town, and they're like, man, Coach, that was a close one. That was a tough one. Or, sorry about the loss. Man, as a fan, that was one of the best games I've ever watched.
Yeah, I had a couple friends at this last game, and that was their comments after the game was, we wanted you guys to win, but regardless of that outcome as a fan, it was so fun to watch. And like I said earlier on here when Chris was on here, we talking to a representative of the Arena Football League today. That's the whole reason why they're doing what they're doing this week is they want to see everybody A, get healthy, right? So that way B, we can put on the best show possible, and then C, number 3, that because there's been so many issues with travel for every team, right, I'm going to make sure that there's enough time to make sure that travel is in place for not just the first round, but also the second round.
Correct. And that makes perfect sense. And by the way, you mentioned Chris. If you guys don't know Chris Platt is one of the best human beings on this planet. Yes. And I know everyone's just starting to learn about Chris when they watch us play. Chris was going to be a huge part of our offense early in the year. And he got hurt in our last scrimmage a week before we kicked off the season. And he was out, I want to say, the first 4 weeks, something like nursing a knee injury. He's a good football player, a smart football player. He gets concepts, and he first of all, he is fast. He's factually fast. He was a Texas state champion in track and field, and he was a 2-time track All-American at Baylor. But what's crazy is when you watch him run, he doesn't look like he's running fast, but he's covering ground. When you watch his college tape, he looks like Usain Bolt. It's freaky. And obviously he's a little bit older, and I don't know that he runs like he did in college, but he's still moving and covering ground, and he's a big part of our offense the last couple of weeks, and he'll be somebody that people have to deal with down the stretch.
And I would go one step further and say that Chris is almost the embodiment of what a professional is.
True. Yeah, you guys didn't get to see him while he was injured. I mean, he was at practice every day. He was mentally always locked in. Always rehabbing. One time he suited himself up for a game that I knew he wasn't going to be able to play. And I had to kind of tap him on the shoulder, and I was like, "Hey, you're inactive this game. I can't play you. You're not cleared yet." He goes, "Oh, I know. I got to get the feel of what games feel like and get myself, mentally locked in." He goes, "I'm going to change after warm-ups and get in my street clothes." I was like, "Okay." I didn't want this to be awkward, but you're not supposed to be suited up, and he mentally prepares himself and handles literally every day. He is the same. I mean, there's a lot of guys that we get that out of, and they're, Terrell Warner's a guy who's just happy every day.
Oh, yeah.
Dislocated finger, still a happy guy. Like, he's just always happy. But Chris is just, right down the middle, consistent as there is of a guy, of a professional, of a guy that prepares himself for every single day. Rolando, we're not ignoring you.
Yeah.
You're now up to 4 questions.
Yeah, we do see him. We have not yet got to that point of the show. This is the longest show we've had in probably a month and a half. We're at 33 and a half minutes.
Okay.
So, not that it's a problem.
Ooh, right when I looked up, it said 33.
Wow.
Maybe say a prayer or do something.
I thought that was
wish.
11.
33 is more
Three
than
times, I guess.
3 times better. We should make 3 wishes.
Kennedy, what are your 3 wishes?
This could take hours.
Okay, we're
Go
gonna
write them down.
Yeah, we're gonna move on from that. I don't even remember where we were at before we took the tangent of Chris.
We were kind of wrapping up. I think the TV end of it,
Oh, yes.
and just the travel,
Absolutely.
the bye week, and all that kind of good stuff.
So the way the playoffs worked out, actually ends up working out great for everybody involved.
It seems that way, honestly.
Nashville and Orlando,
Yep.
because there was a possibility that we could have been going to Orlando.
Yeah.
Nashville could have been going to Salina, which would have made no sense for us in Nashville to pass each other in the air.
We could have high-fived on airplanes, yeah, as we were passing each other in the air. Correct.
So ends up being Nashville and Orlando, which still is not a short trip by any means. It's 16 hours, which happens to be the flight. They have what's that called? Credit,
Yeah.
because their original game against Orlando got rescheduled, so they had to take buses. I
Right.
found that out from Jamie Jean that works with them.
Gotcha.
But those teams get to play each other. Us and Salina get to play each other. Both matchups, the teams are familiar with each other.
Yeah, this is your third time.
Yeah,
Or third time seeing Salina,
Yeah.
which is fine.
which
Local, a little bit of a rivalry, or at least developing that way.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if it's the first time you ever beat somebody in the franchise history, Salina probably doesn't see it as a rivalry, but
yeah, I'd say we probably do.
we're a rivalry by geography.
Yeah.
Coach O'Neill's a class act. They have a great ownership group. They've got a great staff.
Yes, absolutely.
He's put together a good football team, and they're only getting better. He signed a couple guys to fill a couple gaps and make some improvements down the stretch. So, we'll have our hand full, and but we think he'll have his hands full too. So, this will be a good one. Winner goes to Billings, which is also kind of nice. Again, it's going to be a CIF semifinal. That's
Yeah.
basically what it comes
Wow,
down
yeah.
to. Yeah,
That's,
If you wanna
yeah,
put it that
I
way.
hadn't thought about that, but yeah.
So it's basically, if you want to take it a step further, it's going to be a CIF versus Blue Blood AFL Arena Bowl.
Yeah.
Because you've got Orlando, Nashville, Albany on the other side. So yeah,
Wow.
CIF versus Blue Blood AFL.
We're going to have to see who, regardless of what CIF team comes out, well, I'm going to be cheering for them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we hope it's us, but
Yeah. No,
we got some. There's some meat on the bone there.
Yeah. And I
But-
think there's meat on the bone for really all 6 teams. I don't look at any of these matchups. I don't look at matchups next week and say, oh, one of the teams should easily win that one. And you look at who's potentially going to come out of both of those. The 4 possibilities on that next week. There's nothing that screams potential blow.
No, this is going to come down to who can stay healthy for 3 weeks. I mean, that's where we're at now. Is who can stay the healthiest for 3 weeks. Rosters aren't locked, but I mean, there's not a lot you can do free agent wise. I mean, if there was some big time free agents, floating around there, they'd be signed.
Yeah.
And some teams are. I've seen a couple of the West Texas guys that have picked up. Salina, I think, signed 1 or 2. I think Albany picked up 1, and West Texas had some good players. But there's only so much you can teach a guy in a short amount of time, and it's got to be a major upgrade.
Yeah.
From what you currently have on your roster, not only from an athleticism standpoint, but from like some of our guys. If there was a better athlete that was out there and available, and a better, guy that was healthier, you've got 2 decisions to make. One is, do I alienate the guy that got me to the dance?
Yep.
You know, do I want to cut a guy in week 11 that's been here since April 1st?
Yep.
I mean, that's doing a guy dirty, first of all. And second of all, I've got, 9 games plus 2 scrimmages invested in most of these guys.
Yep.
They've been here for 11 weeks plus 3, so 14 weeks. We got a lot of different schemes. I mean, we can turn back the clock and say, hey, we did this, in week 6, and we're gonna bring that back. And to that guy, it's brand new. So I don't want to say you got to dumb it down. And I think some of the systems that are built for bringing in free agents and having them play in a short amount of time. But our system really isn't cut out for that. It really is on the O line. Maybe in the D line. Defensively, there's only so many things you can do. So you can get a guy caught up in a week and a half. But at receiver and quarterback, it is a lot more challenging to build that camaraderie. So unless it was a significant upgrade in a lot of ways, and you felt mentally you could get a guy caught up, I don't see the value in doing that, at least from our end.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess you have anything else before we get into our comments, questions?
I'm going to say yes this time.
Hey, there we go.
That was a setup. He was trying to trick me there. I was going to say no and then start talking, but no, we're excited. We're
Still said no.
I know. So yes, I have some things to say. No, we're excited to be here. I mean, I slept maybe an hour and a half on Saturday night. I was just beside myself on how we managed to get beaten that football game. Thought through it a million times in my mind of what I could have done different, and we just did some things that were very out of character for us as a football team.
Yeah.
That contributed to us letting them hang around, and we didn't need to. We had a couple opportunities to go up multiple scores and didn't. So it took me a couple days to recover from that. Just to kind of get out of the funk and that's 2 weeks in a row. We're at West Texas on the 5-yard line with 2 snaps to win the game, and they tackle all of our receivers. The most hopeless feeling in the world is feeling like you should have won the football game, and they tackle your 2 primary receivers 2 straight downs, and they don't call pass interference. And then you've got a 9-hour drive home through the middle of the night. So,
mind you, we drive right through the edge of an awful storm.
Yeah, that too. And then don't even get started on hitting hydroplaning at 70 miles an hour. And all the other good stuff that nobody knows that went on. But, it took me a little bit to get out of the funk. The highs and lows, the emotional highs and lows of the roller coaster that you go through in the course of these games because they're so tight. They're stressful. And when you come up on the bad end of them, it's hard. It's hard to get over. And you kind of replay things in your mind. And the things that I replay in my mind are some of the preparation things. I didn't like how I called the first drive of the game when they fumbled the opening snap. I felt like we should have got points there. I was disappointed. Other than that, there's not a lot about the game that I would change from a play call. There's some things that I would change from a preparation standpoint, making sure our guys understood the situation better.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't change not one bit about how we attacked the last 3.5 minutes of that football game. Wouldn't change a thing about it. And I think if we played that game 1,000 times in a row, 999 of them, we win that football game. And I feel quite confident about that. So, but it is what it is. We're at where we're at. But right now we're 0-0.
Yep.
Going into a brand new season, and
it's kind of funny. We started the regular season with Salina. We're going to start the postseason with Salina.
Let's do it. So let's do it.
Now, if we end up somehow ending the postseason with Washington,
I feel confident that that's impossible.
Yeah.
But stranger things have happened around here. Yeah. We ended up with a Week 10 bye, so stranger things have happened.
Yeah, so we don't think that's going to happen. But Rolando is the only one that's commented so far. We're going to get to his comments. Says still one of the best teams. We'll be rooting for you guys from here for the playoffs. And shout out to Willie, number 77.
Big Willie.
I'm not positive, like 100%. I think I know what this one's meaning. It says, felt like we gave a lot of passes last game. Any thought on that? I'm guessing it's led.
I'm assuming you meant defensively.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got plenty of thoughts on it, but I mean, the main one is they got a new quarterback who's dialed in. You know, their quarterback play all year has not been terrible. The Tase kid, the kid that was starting most of the games, was pretty talented. They just couldn't protect him. They were banged up a little bit at wide receiver. The new guy they got in, I watched him warm up. I didn't do a lot of research on him because they just signed him last week, but I did a little bit of research on him. But you can watch a guy throw the ball in warm-ups and go, that guy can spin it. Yeah. And I mean, he had high revolutions on his ball. It was a very, very tight spiral, clean release. And I knew he was going to be able to throw the football. The question was going to be, could they protect him long enough to throw the football? And in a lot of instances, they couldn't. And in enough instances, they could. But their receivers weren't bad. I mean, again, go back and watch all their games. I mean, if you really want to have an opinion, then go back and watch all their football games and really tell me what you think about it. They got a couple of receivers that can play, you know, in most places. The little slot did a good job. You know, he was just quick enough that he created separation. They had two bigger wideouts. One got hurt. The other one they only used in certain occasions, which was the guy that caught the game winner. But I mean, Google it. Feel free to Google him.
Google Jordan Pouncey, Florida.
Yeah. Feel free to Google him. He's a real guy. He played some places, and they just activated him last week. He didn't play against Phillies. He didn't play against Atlanta. And not that it would have changed the outcomes of those games, but you know, the fact is that we gave up some passing yards to a guy that throws it really well, to a team that was, you know, let's face it, this was their Super Bowl. They came in here very motivated. They played hard. They were in it. They were energetic. And hats off to them. I'm not mad at anybody. You know, the loss ultimately falls on me, but you know, I'm not mad at Washington. They're just a team that came in here wanting to win a football game, and not mad at them for being excited, not mad at them for making plays. You know, it's our fault if we can't stop them. I tell our guys all the time. The other guys got contracts, they got helmets, they got shoulder pads, they got cleats. They can make plays. Somebody decided that they should pay them to play football. I don't think they're not going to come in here and make plays. Like, it's our job to make a play. 50% of this game is throwing it to a covered guy, and one guy is going to make the play, and one guy is not. One guy's going to have a dark jersey on, the other guy's going to have a white jersey on, and somebody's going to make the play one way or the other. And we got to be on the good end of more than not. And we were on the bad end of, unfortunately, 2 plays in a row where, you know, we either blew an assignment or got a bad read or didn't make the play. So those things do happen, and it's not a reflection necessarily always on us. You know, sometimes I got a buddy named Fred Fimbers, who's the defense coordinator now at Cerritos College, but I worked under him, and he was the head football coach for a long time. I remember one time we had a really good running back, and he broke for a long run. There was a 4-year guy that was in recruiting, and we were watching tape together with him. And the guy ended up going to the University of Arizona, and now he's actually an actor in Hollywood. But that's besides the point. But you know, he was a longer back and ran pretty well. But the point of the conversation is, you know, he would break a lot of runs, and he got caught on a run. And the 4-year guy literally is sitting there in our office, and he said, "See, that's my concern. He gets caught here." And Coach Fimbers turned to him and he goes, "Are they not allowed to have good players too? Why is that? Why are they not allowed to have fast guys too?" Yeah. And so the point is, yeah, our guy got beat. He undercut the ball and it went over his head. Are they not allowed to have good quarterbacks and receivers too? Yeah. Yeah, we've got to be better. But that doesn't mean that the other teams don't have good players too, and their guys aren't going to make plays from time to time. Yeah. So our job is to be better prepared and to out-call them and to out-execute them, and we've unfortunately been right there. We're right there, and we've just been on the bad end, and we've just been on the bad end of too many of them. And it's not. I'm not sitting here making excuses, and I'm not saying it's acceptable. It's absolutely unacceptable. We talk about that as a football team, and those are things that we've got to get corrected. But yeah, that's that.
We're gonna head to the last one of Rolondo's. He also says it would be cool to see more Dodge in the arena. You guys play really awesome in the arena. It's cool. I would absolutely agree, except I would take that one step further and say it would be awesome to see all of Southwest Kansas, Southeast Colorado, Northwest Oklahoma, and part of the Texas Panhandle fill that arena. And
It would.
unfortunately, we will have to wait till next year for that to happen.
Yeah, Matt. Well, stranger things have happened.
That is true.
But I doubt Salina or Billings is going to give up a home game for us. Nor do I know that we have any open dates to be able to get in there the next couple weeks. So,
We're going to get to the last comment we have, unless anything pops up within the next minute or so. I'm getting tapped on the shoulder because somebody finally came up with their wishes.
yeah, I know. I deal with her every game. So.
Rosie Kessler says, I really wanted to see the Storm play the Predators, but I'm very happy the Southwest Kansas Storm is in the playoffs. Totally believe they can beat Salina.
I think it would be cool to play Orlando. I honestly do. Obviously, that would have to be in the Arena Bowl at an undisclosed secret location.
Yeah.
That we're supposed to learn about.
Actually, players were asking me today, hey, where's the Arena Bowl at? I don't know why they think I know everything.
Right.
But they think I do. And I'm like, I literally have no idea.
Yeah, we were in a head coaches meeting league-wide on Monday, and we weren't even told. So I know they know. I know it's already settled and everything, but they are keeping that one very close to the vest. But yeah, playing Orlando would be cool. Honestly, if we have a chance to, if we're fortunate enough to get by the next couple weeks and get an opportunity, I don't care who we play.
Yeah.
But I believe we can beat Salina too, considering that we've already beaten them once. But Salina is, and I've said this in every interview I've ever done, but Salina's they're a great franchise, great organization, great ownership, great support locally, and an unbelievably, I think the world of Coach O'Neill, just a solid dude, good football coach, and the product they put on the field is a direct reflection on all of the work that he does, and obviously being able to convey that, coach that, teach that, and they are absolutely a direct byproduct of him as a human and as a football coach. And we're privileged and excited to go against him again.
Absolutely. The excitement is at an all-time high. Getting to go to the playoffs, getting to play a very familiar opponent in the playoffs. We are only 17 minutes late, but Miss Kennedy has her 3 wishes. What are they? Yeah. Sure. Can you speak that there? Either microphone.
Come on.
My 3 wishes are to get a horse, to get another dog, and to get another cat.
Wow. Yes.
Gosh, she didn't go for to be rich, or
Which would buy all 3
to
of those.
live forever.
Which would probably get all 3 of those.
Yeah, I mean, you could have gone a way different direction there, and this is my sweet daughter, and I love her to death, but I hope she doesn't get any of those 3 wishes.
You're gonna have a much bigger backyard if that first one comes through.
Yeah, well, and my wife probably would.
Oh, hey, we have somebody.
Oh, that's my mother.
Oh, this is hi, Kennedy.
That's Grandma. Say hi to Grandma. We have viewers in California at the moment.
That is awesome. Well, we've already got your last moment thoughts, unless you have anything else.
I do not. We're going to give the guys a few days off that they haven't had. I do have one more thought.
Okay, there we go.
I mean,
Yes.
we're already at 51
Yeah.
minutes. It was 51.
I saw that too.
Right? That means good things are coming our direction. But, at the college level, I used to tell people, we spend way too much time together. In the preparation between our meeting time, our film time, our weight time, weightlifting time, our practice time, or after social gatherings and all that kind of stuff. I mean, we spend more time together than honestly that we do with our own families. Which you got to have a great family to be in this business. Which luckily I do. And my kids love this, and my wife kind of married into it at first, and then thought she was out, and then she got drugged back in. That's a conversation for a different day, but. The fact is we spend so much time together. We've had maybe a day off here and there, in the last 14 weeks. During camp we were going 7 days a week. During the season, we're going, basically 5. But even on our day offs, we're doing something. The guys are lifting. We're doing prep on film and stuff like that. So, we're giving our guys almost 4 days off here this weekend. We're going to go early tomorrow morning, and then we're going to go Monday evening. So, hopefully, they get a chance to just kind of get away and recharge their batteries a little bit, and just kind of redirect, their focus, and so we can go into this thing, full speed. And the old saying, fish and family are similar in that they both go bad after 3 days, or they both start to stink after 3 days. And I tell the guys, we're a team, but I mean, ultimately we're a lot like a family. You start to get on each other's nerves, and when I go home, I go home to my family. They go home to each other. Because of the living situation. So they're luckily we've got a great group, and they've handled everything well and professionally. But I know they're excited to have a little bit of time off, and even some of them, they're going to get down to Oklahoma City and Dallas and some of these other places and have an opportunity to see. Some of them have kids, and get opportunity to see kids and wives and girlfriends and aunts and uncles, and so it'll be a good opportunity for us to kind of redirect our focus by getting away from football for a minute.
Absolutely. And I know talking to a couple of guys tonight, they have just about all of them have plans to do something, even if that's being around here. But just go.
Sometimes relax. Doing nothing is doing something.
Yeah. And just relax away from the game, get recharged, get refocused, like you said. Get a little bit of excitement going again. Like we've said all night, we could not be more excited about the opportunity to play in the playoffs and be on the road to Arena Bowl 33. So with that, we're going to close out.
Don't ask me if I have anything left.
Yeah,
just cut me off. No. Yeah, just cut me off and hit the fire button.
Yeah, you can say no. Well, actually, do you have any last final words, Kennedy? All right, perfect. Well, Southwest Kansas Storms. Mess that up.
Storm.
Southwest Kansas. There's a storm coming.